Cartoon Obsession. Hello everybody, my name is Nathan, and I am the man with a cartoon obsession, and I'm back at it again with another cartoon show review. This time around, I'll be talking about Primal. I don't usually like doing show reviews while the show in question is still going on, especially when it's in the middle of a season. But since Primal is so unique and it's taking a break before the second half of Season 1, I decided to talk about it anyway. Primal was created by Genndy Tartakovsky, who you may know as the creator of cartoons such as Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack. This series premiered on Adult Swim on October 7th, 2019, as a 5-night special event, and 5 more episodes are set to air sometime in 2020. Tartakovsky stated that Primal was an early piece of work he scrapped because it didn't click with him at the time, but the more he learned about what drew people in, the more he wanted to experiment with those practices, that being the use of no dialogue and slow moments. If you're familiar with Tartakovsky's work, you will know that Dexter's Laboratory was probably his most dialogue-heavy show, although it did have several episodes that had limited dialogue, and there were also more episodes that had long gaps between characters speaking, and it had its slower shots as well. Samurai Jack took this a step further. While not being dialogue-free, the action scenes did most of the talking for the show, and they were shot very cinematically, paying homage to old samurai movies. As for Primal, there is absolutely no dialogue in the show whatsoever. There is music and the characters make noises like grunts, roars, and screams, but there is no talking at all. Now you may be asking, what is the justification for that? Well, this show takes place in prehistoric times, and while I guarantee it's not entirely historically accurate, it doesn't take a complete fictional turn by having Spear the caveman talk to any of the animals he encounters. He does end up befriending a T-Rex named Fang, and the two companions fight to survive, whether it be braving the elements or fighting off predators. I'm not going to spoil how these two become acquainted, but I will say it's a little tragic, but at the same time it also feels rewarding. That's one of the things I praise this show for, its ability to instill emotions in you. The biggest one being suspense. There's so much suspense throughout this series, whether it's Spear and Fang hunting for prey, battling enemies, or even just braving harsh weather. This is a show that makes you really care about the characters, and maybe even makes you feel like you're in the prehistoric era watching all these events take place. Another thing I have to praise the series for is its beautiful art style. The character designs are so unique and detailed, and the backgrounds and scenery look absolutely gorgeous. Everything is also animated so fluidly, from the character movements to even things like snow falling. Altogether, this show is easy on the eyes. Well, except for one thing. This show is extremely violent, and when I say violent, I mean graphically violent. This is some of the most blood and gore I've ever seen in a cartoon, or at least justified blood and gore. In Primal, all this violence makes sense because of the time period it takes place in. These characters are in a survival of the fittest situation, and they have to have that kill or be killed mentality in order to make it through each day. In other modern adult cartoons, however, like Mr. Pickles for example, the violence isn't necessary. It's just there for shock value and it's meant to be funny, but it hardly ever is. In Primal though, it never feels like the violence is graphic just for the sake of being edgy. That being said, if you're squeamish, I suggest you steer clear of this show because there's brutal violence in every episode. The only complaint I have about this show is more of a really minor nitpick, and it also just may be my attention span, but I find myself occasionally tuning out during the episodes. Not too often and not for too long either, but I feel like it may be a result of the lack of dialogue. Regardless of that, the music helps set the tone for the show, and the stunning visuals help keep me invested. Overall, I give Primal a 97 out of 100. This is basically a flawless show, but since there are still some more episodes on the way, I thought it would be best if I held off on giving it a perfect score at the moment. But like I said, I just had to talk about it. This is something you guys need to watch. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you have any other cartoons, anime, or other animated works that you'd want me to talk about in the future, please let me know. After all, it's not my channel, it's our channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and feel free to check out my social media pages, audition for an outro, and join the official Cartoon Obsession Discord, the links for all of which are in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
I'm Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown, and thank you for watching Cartoon Obsession, baby.